really fun movie, and there's so much to talk about. But you both come to it with such wonderful but different backgrounds. Katie, obviously, you have a lot of action, and Ricky, you have a lot of comedy. And this is a place where they meet. And I'm wondering if you can each talk a little bit about crossing from there, from your wheelhouse traditionally, into this other place. Maybe Katie, you can start.
Oh, I've always wanted to do comedy, but it's like I'm sure Ricky has more experience on this, but I feel like it's a really kind of uh, well gate kept and difficult thing to break into. And my like literally, I was thinking about going to med school, and my mom was like, maybe you should do stand up, and I was like, that sounds that sounds. It's like that sounds actually more difficult. Um, so yeah, I always wanted to do something that was just silly fun, and kind of take a break from all the, I don't know, being a evil military something something. And when I saw the script and got to chat with Tina, it felt like such a breath of fresh air. And I also wanted to do like a really gay, fun project.
Nice. Ricky, what was it like? I mean, is comedy harder than med school? You haven't done med school, I assume.
Oh,
But
definitely would be. Yeah, med school would be harder for me, but that's because I can't remember anything. So, but I feel like I didn't really do a lot of the action in this, so I kind of just got to be in the comedy. I had like one stunt where I hit a bunny with a fire extinguisher, but other than that, I got to just be like funny and scared. So it still felt in my wheelhouse. Plus, I was also very
yeah.
excited to be part of, you know, something that just had so much queer joy. I was like, yay,
Yeah, what
felt very honored.
you have really done all different kinds of things though, Ricky, in your career, and I'm curious what kind of stood out to you about this as being particularly unique.
The second I read it, I read it about 3 weeks after I had a baby. And I was like, oh no, can I make it work? And I still wanted to make it work. And then luckily it got postponed for a year where I was more settled and could make it work. But the second I read it, I was like, oh, I really want to be part of this. It just was so different than anything I'd read. I'd never seen a zombie movie like this. And it just felt so inspired and hilarious and so well done. And I was just grateful to be asked.
Katie, when you talk about kind of being a military badass or whatever, villain or whatever it is, but you've been to a lot of different kinds of things. It's not always evil. Can you talk a little bit about what you'd like to do? I mean, you've got the Running Man coming up, but you've also, maybe you'll be back in Star Wars at some point. I don't know. But like, what's your kind of like, no, you don't think so?
I'm not in the movie. I don't know what else they're doing, but
What are the things that are kind of left on your list that you're like, this is what I really want to do?
oh, there's so many things. I mean, like first of all, as very gay looking, openly queer woman, I think it's very difficult to find a leading role. And I think it's a big risk for like in a big production to do that. So I mean that would be incredible. But in the greater scheme of things, I just want to do something. I like variety. I like doing new things, but I also like uh, leaning on things that I'm comfortable with too. So I want to do an action. I want to do an action comedy. I want to do a thriller, like a crime thriller. Um, I don't think there's anything that I really don't want to do. But it's just finding the right script and the right opportunities.
Ricky,
I
what
would
was it
love to
like?
see you in like a true detective
Right? Wouldn't that
type
be
thing,
sick?
like the main role in I think that would be so cool.
Be so fun.
I feel like there's
Do
so
it.
much superhero stuff that you could fit into easily that like fits your whole vibe and that stuff runs the gamut of comedy action. But Ricky, when you talked to Tina, what was one of the things that kind of you saw about her vision that once you started working with her on this that
I
struck you?
when we started talking, we had a Zoom and we were just like laughing the whole time. It was just so easy. We just got along. It just felt like, oh, if we do this, it'll be so fun. Because it's not everyone you want to like, go to New Jersey and work, overnight in an alley in New Jersey. It's not every director that you're like, I feel comfortable with that. And just talking to her, she was just so like her laugh is really infectious. She's clearly very smart and had really put so much into this movie. And it was kind of instant. And we were like, oh, we totally get along. This will be great.
I should show you my BTS for where they had Margaret be attacked by the rats because it literally like, was hazmat. Like it was so sketchy.
So she told me she loved the rats and she was like having the time of her life with those rats, which is fascinating to me. She was like, I always wanted to work with rats.
Oh, I could barely keep my eyes open watching that scene. I was like, oh, so gross. So gross. Oh.
Katie, was this set like this cast is really funny and there's so many personalities? Can you talk a little bit about being part of the crew, the cast, the ensemble, and what that experience was like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the dynamics on screen are pretty similar to what you see like behind the scenes. I tend to be kind of I don't want to say reserved necessarily as I talk or whatever, but like I'm not uh I don't have that like theater energy, you know, and it's a lot of Broadway actors, theater kids, and so a lot of energy, which I really did enjoy being around. And I just think that they all are just it was just they're singing behind the scenes, you know, telling jokes. It was just this constant reminder of the talent that you were surrounded by, and it was just so beautiful, and it was just joyful, and everyone was trying to lift everyone up. I never noticed a situation where people were like down on each other, or there was no argument or anything like that. It was just a really beautiful and fun environment.
Well, I got the wrap sign, but I want to thank you both so much for taking the time today and great work on this.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.